rescue cats that we have, who, by the way, are loving quarantine, lots of attention, lots of petting. I have adopted maybe five feral cats, three adults and two kittens and two baby possums and one adolescent possum. So, just growing menagerie of outdoor pets that I, just animals that show up every day, and I feed them and I coo over them. And I actually lured the cutest little kitten into my kitchen yesterday, but he scrambled out the door before I was able to lock the door. So my hello, Susan. So my evil plot to neuter him and foster him and land him a cushy home for the rest of his life is foiled for now. Hello, Andy. But we now know that he likes wet food because he's a cat. So I'm really, really hoping that, that I can give them all good lives. And I have to talk about COVID. And like my way of coping with COVID is really focusing on life. So in the little tiny corners that I can, feeding the cats and the possums, growing my garden, growing food. My house has never looked more beautiful. My garden, just I am living a Jane Austen novel. I read, I garden, I take dance classes, I write. My lifelong aspiration to be a Victorian lady of leisure is really being acted out this year. And doing my radio shows and coaching my favorite clients. But it's going easy and no big launches, because that's not the energy of right now for me. By the way, a lot of my clients are doing really, really well because it's, every challenge brings opportunity. But so, I've been trying to not dwell too much on COVID because I want this to be timely. And if I record something today, it's going to sound really dated in a couple of weeks. But we're going to be here for a while. And I got news that somebody in my dance community, because I'm a big West Coast swing dancer with my husband, somebody that I've danced with passed away from COVID yesterday. And that's just really heartbreaking. And at the same time, I'm seeing all these messages about, don't wear masks. You'll be a sheep. It's fear-based. And I want to talk about fear, because fear gets a really bad rap. I don't know who, thank you, Andy. I don't know who made up false evidence appearing real. I really don't know where that came from. But what about when the evidence is real? I think fear is our friend. It tells us what is important. Wearing a mask, taking preventive measures is not, to me, any more fear-based than saving up for my retirement. It is a mild inconvenience now because I am committed to a long, comfortable life. And I actually saw a dear friend posted fear and a meme, fear and love cannot coexist. And I thought, oh my God, that's exactly what I want to talk about here, because that's so not true. Of course they coexist, and they coexist all the time because we fear harm, we fear loss to what we love. They are, in a way, partners. Let's shut down my emails so that I'm not hearing the beeps. I don't know if you are. Fear, whether it's we want to grow our business and we're afraid of public speaking and we're afraid of taking action, to me, that's like a flag in the sand saying treasure below. Something is important here. There are stakes. There is love at stake, something we love, whether it's our safety and our protection or the loss of a dream because we pursue it and it doesn't work out. It's good to know that things we love bring up fear. Oh my Lord. When I started to really fall in love with Devin, I went from a very relaxed, confident, take it or leave it, self sufficient person into a bit of a hot mess of insecurity. And then when he wanted to marry me, I was like, oh my God, he's going to ruin everything. And all that fear came up. And the fear comes up. And here's the big point, is when fear comes up, that's when you ask yourself, what matters to me? What am I committed to? What is the choice that takes me in the direction of who I want to be in the life I want? Really, really big. So if taking that big, scary, huge speaking gig is terrifying, but it grows you bigger into who you want to be in the world you want to create, then say yes to the fear and love it. If getting married is terrifying and takes you in the direction of who you want to be in the life you want to create, say yes to the fear. And if the fear is, I don't want to fall into that snake pit and die a horrible death, well, that's not the future that I want to grow into. Nor is getting really sick and spreading disease is not the future that makes me bigger, the person I want to be. No. So I make other choices. I'm concerned about, by the way, this is where intuition, I'm going to talk about intuition in a second. I have concerns about food availability next year because we're seeing our farmers and our meat packers getting sick. That's scary. So I'm growing food. And growing food is a wonderful thing. So actually, fear, again, fear gives us a choice to move into the life and direction we want to create. A thing about intuition, maybe 15, 20 years ago, back in the day, I was in a workshop, a real wonderful high-level workshop, and one of the other participants, his whole business was training women to protect themselves from assault. And he had a whole suite of VHS videotapes. So we know it was way, way, way back when those things existed. And there were machines to play them. And he gave some of them to me as a gift. And I remember the biggest point that he made was that prevention is so much more effective. Like, he makes his life, his living, his business teaching women like martial arts and defense. And his number one training is how to not have to be in that situation in the first place, how to prevent having to use those skills. And the thing that he said that has stayed with me these decades is that every woman that he met who had been assaulted said that she had a feeling, that she knew something was off and she didn't listen to it. So when somebody says, choose love over fear, I say, stop for a second. Don't choose love over fear of somebody who is abusing you or is posing a danger or you have an icky feeling about. Choose love of yourself and thank the fear for getting your attention. Don't ignore it. It is on your team. It is part of your superpower. We do not have to let fear stop us from doing good things that are important to us, that grow us. And I'm very, very happy to be seeing that these protests that have been happening across our country for weeks, righteous protests against racism, that because the people were wearing masks and spacing, that isn't where the spike of infections is happening. So in fact, taking preventive measures gives us more freedom. So if you have a question, type it in. But I think the real point that I want to make today is you get to use all of yourself. Your fear is sacred. It is on your side. It may be clumsy. It may send you bad messages or misguided, misinformed messages sometimes. So investigate. That's why we have brains. I love our brains. Big, big, big on intuition, also big on brain. And take a look at what is important and who you want to be. And I think we do have a question. Morgana, my monster is my own mother. I cannot kill my monster mother, although I tried to see her in person. Like, great question. So common. Many, many, many of us have parents who were monstrous. And I have, over the years, heard some stories that really curdled my blood. And here's the thing. Your parent gave you life, or in some way sustained your life if you were adopted and did not grow up with your birth parents. So your parent is not 100% monster. No human being is 100% monster. But your mother had her own monster that hurt you through her. So what you want to focus on when you are creating your money monster is the monster behind the things that she did, as if that monster is a puppet master. So for those of you who just tuned in and you don't know what I'm talking about, money monster, money honey, sounds crazy. I really haven't introduced myself. I always forget to do that. Hi, my name is Morgana Ray. This is Rich Witch Radio. I have been a best-selling author and mentor coach in life and business for over 26 years now, as of this month. And I am best known for transforming relationship with money from a monster of scarcity into a honey of abundance. And if you want to go deep into that work, you can start easy peasy for free at morganaray.com. Just start with the 4-part video series at the top, maybe take the Does Money Love You quiz on the homepage. So when you tune in, you're going to hear weird language like money monster and money honey. And if that's unfamiliar to you, you can catch up really, really fast. And it sounds woo, but the proof is in the numbers. Go to alchemysuccess.com and just see the results. Oh, new question from one of my favorite people in the world. Can you please talk more about using your intuition in relationship? I'm great alone and seem to lose it in relationship. I would love to be in a healthy marriage. Thank you. Oh, that's, as I said, yeah, I was like really, really cool and, confident on my own. And here's the thing about relationship is it is designed to bring up our stuff. It is designed to bring out our worst and our best because it's designed to create opportunities to work through our wounds. And whoever we pick, newsflash, whoever we pick, no matter how wonderful and enlightened, that person's going to be crazy. I promise you. Like, I married the best man on earth. He's crazy, but so am I. And that is the wild thing about relationships. So here's my advice to you. And also, we will be eventually going every week. Right now, I have a radio show, a real radio show, partnering with my husband. We air every other Wednesday at 5 p.m. at Crazy Sexy Midlife Love at BBS Radio. You can sign up for like updates, get free downloads if you go to crazysexymidlifelove.com, and you'll be on our mailing list to get reminders when our next show goes live, because it's hard to keep track of every other week. But so I'm going to add, this is what I'm going to help you with right now, Tanya. where intuition really, really helps, especially in the beginning, because it gets harder as you get invested, especially when you start having sex. Ladies, the estrogen in our body amplifies the drug oxytocin, which makes us fall in love, no matter how unqualified the person is. It's so we become drug addicts, and our judgment is in the back seat of that like car in the 70s that used to explode all the time. So take it slow. Hold on to your orgasms for as long as you can, because you want to get to know the person. By the way, that's a great thing about quarantine, is you have to get to know the person before you get physical. Yay. So be honest. This is a really big thing, especially for women, because we can delude ourselves and be chameleons, wanting to make it work. So what flipped everything for me? In, I think it was 2005 exactly, is I made a decision, and my mentor used a timeline process that I now do in my limiting belief obliterator, which I think you have, Tanya. I went back in time, and I recognized the pattern and where it came from and what it really meant. And I made a decision that I no longer needed to pretend not to know for 2 years what I could tell within 2 dates. I realized that every ridiculously bad relationship that I'd ever been in, I knew what was wrong with it right away, but I made allowances. I chose love over fear, even though I knew what was wrong, and what we would break up for eventually was like in my face from the very beginning. So choose to believe that the universe is abundant and you can say no. Say no. Alison Armstrong, a really good coach in this topic, is just like sort and move on. When you know something is wrong, the great thing, if you are cis hetero female, is guys are really easy. Unless they are a skilled con man, and those do exist, but even then, your gut will tell you what your brain doesn't want to see. But in general, guys are so obvious about who they are, which makes our job of screening them so much easier, especially as we get older. If who he is what you get. Don't date potential. You will not get perfection, but you will find perfect for you. You just have to have the courage to hold out for it. And I teach this all the time, that the universe is going to test you. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Just to make sure you're serious, but you want to leave that space open for your person. And I have dated hundreds of men. I found my husband at 45. I didn't even want to show up for the date because his photo on OkCupid was horrible. And I was tired, but I didn't want to be the jerk to stand somebody up. Thank goodness. And from 2005 to our first date, August 11th, 2012, I was a one-date wonder, with occasional forays into 3-month relationships that I knew were temporary anyway. Because when I got really honest, and men are obvious, I could see why it wasn't going to work, as if they had an expiration date above their head. The racist, the anger management, the guy who shared his entire sexual history with me on the first date and named names. Just, you don't have to pretend and make things okay. Just keep, and you love men already, so you don't have to worry about because I know who you are, Tanya. You don't have to worry about the bitterness. Keep your heart open. And it's again, believing that there is abundance, and in 7 billion people, there are actually a lot of good people for you. And then you pick your favorite and you settle down. And one of the signs that this person is your person, and there will be lots of little hints that will make that person right for you that wouldn't make him right for somebody else. Like, one of the hints for me is my husband teaches Kabbalah. That would send some other women screaming into the fields. I was studying Kabbalah in college in 1989. That just made him a little more right for me. So look for the clues, but there's also going to be an ease and a fit. Like, you cannot do enough right things to make it work with the wrong person. And you can make some mistakes. And with the right person, he's just going to find it funny, or she's just going to find it funny. The right person will have the skills. By the way, this is probably the biggest indicator. Your person is going to have the skills and the will to stick it out and work things through. Little more. Studies have shown that marriages that end in divorce typically have 6 to 7 intractable conflicts that were never resolved. Studies also show that marriages that last forever and are really happy have 6 to 7 intractable issues, big, important issues that are never resolved. The difference is not the issues, the difference is how you relate to each other. The more affection, the more, like what Dr. John Gottman calls love bits. Smiles, kisses, here's your coffee, just sweetness. Like, my husband takes my gray little scrappy alley cat that I trapped and kidnapped and have imprisoned for a year. And he's so happy. He's just cuddles in constant demand for attention now, the cat, not the husband. The husband's pretty great too. But my husband will pick up the cat and bring him upstairs to me because he knows it makes me happy. That's a love bid. So the more of those, the happier the long-term relationship. Like, playfulness, key indicator of a healthy relationship. Intuition is, I think, the most important going in, before you have invested so much that it's hard to hear the intuition. But if there's violence, if there's danger, don't ignore it, and get impartial, helpful outside the home support. Let's see. Cian, I think I'm pronouncing the name correctly. I'm having money problems, meaning the CRA is always asking for money. CRA. I just received my tax return, and one sentence is 1,600 in arrears. You're in another country, so I'm not sure what a CRA is. So I don't know. I know I don't owe, and I'll send them my payments, but I'm getting tired of them. Okay, so how do I deal with this? 2 things, because I don't know your situation. I'm not going to give financial advice here because I'm not, like, professionally prepared to tell you how to deal with the CRA and back taxes. Not my thing. What I will say is, you're talking about a pattern, and I understand patterns. So I would, after you've done the whole slay the money monster and use this stuff in the money monster, and you have a money honey, ask your money honey, what do I need to learn here so that I don't need to recreate this pattern? It is worth fighting, just because if you do not owe money, it is worth fighting to protect and put energy into fighting for your money and seeing it through. It lets your money know that he's important or she's important. And in my experience, that can that putting value, like you are worth standing up for integrity and protecting, that kind of energy can be very attractive to money from other sources. But what it sounds like is, it sounds like you have a really exhausting and painful relationship with money patterns. So I would start putting that and every other unfairness and betrayal and exhaustion into a monster, and start there. Destroy the monster, create a new relationship, and then ask the money honey. Again, I think the question for you is, what do I need to learn here so I don't need to recreate this pattern anymore? And that is when I get the best info that takes me to my next level, when I ask questions like that. Is this a money monster? There's always people after my money. Well, any negative pattern is going to be a monster. So yeah, a pattern of people after your money, after you, people being dangerous. Yeah, put all that in. And we're going to take one more. Hi, my question, aside from communicating with your money honey, do you have any techniques for manifesting in general? Lots. And I drop them in here, and I drop them into my Rich Witch Challenge and my Money Goddess Experience and my Money Manifest, Money Magnet Rapid Transformation Breakthrough. I created that last title 10 or 11 years ago. Way too many words. Sorry, apologies. So I am going to give you a tip right now, because it actually worked for me this week. Saying no is really, really attractive. So I've been attracting a lot of client queries in the last 2 weeks, just spontaneously out of the blue. And all lovely people. I care about all of them. And most of them are not appropriate for me. I'm not the right coach for them, or they are not ready to work with me at the level that I want to work, which is fine. I really prefer and have my best results with established women business owners who know their business and have some traction. Those are the ones that we can scale to millions of dollars really quickly. And I'm really not here to put somebody who's just treading water to put some really big obligation on their back. So I send them to my self-study program, because in my experience, I've had clients have huge financial breakthroughs there, and then they are in a better position to work with me privately if that's what they want, or go to Bali with me. So I said no to 3 out of 4 people in the last week. And as soon as I did that, one of my all-time favorite clients wrote to me that she wants to work with me this month. And it happens like that all the time. So for the person, with the love question, there's something very attractive about saying no, because it creates space and kind of suction to draw in what you really do want. So that is going to wrap up today's Rich Witch live broadcast. If you have questions in between, feel free to submit at any time at askmorgana.com. I love to have really easy URLs. Askmorgana.com to ask me questions. Hey, what an idea. Is love and relationship on your mind? Crazy Sexy Midlife Love.com. That's the title of our radio show at BBS Radio. But you can join our Crazy Sexy Midlife Love family at Crazy Sexy Midlife Love and get notifications when we have our next show. And you can call in there and get my point of view and Devin's boy brain. If you are new to transforming your relationship with money, start easy and for free with my 4-part video series at morganaray.com, and sending you love and safety and power. Mwah. Namaste, witches.